Hello, welcome to another Tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is called Riverside Reflections. And yes, it is a redo. And what you're looking at right now is the painting as it was when I finished it in 2013. There's some weird things with this painting. I actually think the scene itself was kind of pretty cool. And I painted it larger as well, but um, what I decided to do was gold and reds and things like that, and real happy with the way it turned out. I think it's very strong, and I'm sharing it with you today. And we are using maybe not the most extreme glazing, but it is quite extreme. I have had some questions regarding glazing. There's a video on my channel. Just type in glazing. If you click on my name there, it'll take you to my channel. And it's not easy to spot, but over to the or right at the top is a little like magnifying glass, and that is for searching the channel. So if you put the word glazing in there, I just actually rewatched it today to make sure, because it's pretty comprehensive, at least as far as I approach glazing. So this is fairly extreme in that it's taking the cast of the painting, which was sort of cool, and now we're totally warm. And this is the power of glazing. Anyway, before we get much further here, please like the video. Just use your mouse muscles and just reach on over and click that like button. Assuming you like the channel, you're coming around, you like the videos, it costs you nothing to like it. What could cost you something, though, is to buy this painting in my store, because I'll have it there. I think, in fact, I'm sure I do still have this painting. And I had done all these back in, like, I'm thinking October of 2018 or so. I just went through, probably spent a whole month just doing nothing but redos. I think I did almost 50 or 60 revisions on paintings, and I was just on a roll. It was so fun, and you know, yeah, I'm really happy with affecting the changes I had. And who knows, like, I still have some of these larger paintings around in boxes. Maybe I might redo some of those as well. We'll see. Anyway, I'm in my new studio now, and it is at a place called the Cowboy Junkies, which is an antique and collectible shop here in Whangarei, New Zealand. Um, yeah, it's cool. I'm watching the shop, and I have a studio there. I'm doing some painting, and I'm getting into some different things. Not all just landscapes either. It's one of the changes I've decided to make with the studio shift, is to shift some of my subject matter a bit too. So fortunately, the name of the channel is just Michael McCarthy, so painter, I believe. So it won't really, I'll just be folding out things that I'm painting. Still going to be plenty of landscapes. I have a real strong preference for that sort of subject, but I have some ideas for some other things I want to do as well. So we'll see how it goes, and just stay posted. Also, I do intend to do some larger paintings there. I've got some boards prepped. Found that quite a lot about, and I talked about this in the last video, about hardboard versus MDF, and having finally got my hardboards and doing some prep, I've actually opted to go with non-texture on the recent spate of paintings I'm going to be doing. And well, this is a very subtle texture, but I've been doing the gessoing on the panels with a like a squeegee thing, and then going in with a paint roller, and then sanding, and then repeating that process. And I am quite enthused with the texture on the hardboard. I think it looks pretty neat. So the thing is with the hardboard is MDF works pretty well. Actually, I always think of MDF as just like super compressed cardboard, you know. But if you want to talk compressed, the hardboard is compressed far more. It's far more rigid and less difficult to dent. Uh, I do so much work on the MDF with textures and things. It hasn't really been an issue for me since I'm building up a pretty good surface. But I feel for the smoother paintings that I'm aiming on doing, and they won't be smooth totally, um, they just look nice and painterly. I feel the hardboard is going to be the way to go, and I'm feeling real good about it. And so we'll keep you praised. We'll keep you praised. So this is like kind of interesting because okay, I was going with some warms, and now oh my goodness, what am I doing? I'm going in with some blues and things. So that's almost a complementary sort of thing. But you get that. You get that in the sky all the time. You know, there's still some blue sky, and yet the clouds are being hit by the sun and they're turning into flaming oranges and yellows and things like that. And I've been fascinated with those sort of effects for a long time. One of the interesting things about this particular painting is, though, as in the case of all redos, I really don't know too much what the heck I'm doing until I do it. And actually, at this new studio, just as a kind of break-in, I had a few left in a box that I'd set aside from back in October to redo, and I've been working on those because I find that's a great way to kind of get into painting that you know, it's not as do or die because you have an established painting there, you're just improving it. So, and a lot of times I don't make like with my normal working processes, I have a definite plan, I have a bit of reference, I have a color scheme in mind, and then I'm going to go about executing it as an original painting. With the redos, I have a painting that is done. It's been around for a while, but I don't usually know what it is I'm going to do to improve it. I just go, and that's what I really like about it, because that's not really my normal working process. My normal working process is to have a strong plan. With the redos, I'll start with like, well, okay, how about purple? Or how about, in this case, if it's all yellows with oranges. Oh, sorry, hit the microphone there. Yes, I'm rubbing my eye right now. Uh, yeah, so moving to this new studio has been pretty big bunch of work. It's very interesting, though, to be working in a different place after 8 years at the quarry. I keep saying 8, it's like 7 3/4 years since I moved in there in November of 2011, which is getting to be a while back. Didn't seem like that long ago, but it's gone reasonably quick. And this is one of the neat things about moving, or you know, having other big changes in your life, is that if you go through long periods without a lot of changes, then time can actually really speed up. And so time is kind of slowing down a bit now as I'm running into a lot of things in my working life that I'm not used to and haven't dealt with for quite a while. Yeah, so anyway, you can see what I'm doing now, and you can see how odd that blue was in this painting when I started, but it's working fine now. And I'm just kicking up the value, modulating from, you know, it's a middle value, the orange, and it's actually very close in value to the blue, which is a trick I've talked to you guys about, where you can make shifts in color, but they're not radical shifts in value. That's a very soothing thing that you can do with your paintings. And then when you put in aspects that are much more intense, like I did with the lightness up against the horizon, it gives you some pop, and that's what I call it. I always try and do skies that pop, you know. Also, I think it was kind of inspired to have the sort of cool purplish tones in the shadows of the foliage and bushes and things. There are trees, what have you. That's working, you know. And that's again one of the interesting things about um, the redo process is that each thing I do builds on another thing. And yeah, I was working on one a few days ago, and funny enough, going through this folder looking to see if there was any follow-ons to this one. Everything here is going to be in one pass, so I never put it up on the easel again after this. I saw one that I'd revised a few days ago, and so I'd already dug in and revised it. And I have to tell you, I was super lost on that, and I get that feeling on every revision. I had it a bit on this one as well. I felt a little bit lost. But I kind of like that feeling because I'll just keep going. And what I tell myself, and this is a tip for you, another tip. Okay, so you're painting and things are not going so great. They're not going so well. But what I recommend that you do is just keep persevering and remember that when you just try and get the big things right, don't get hung up on any small bits. Because when the painting's dry, and you've had some time to live with it for a while, you're going to start seeing what's good about the painting and what's lacking in the painting, and you'll have a chance to address those things that are lacking. If the big things are basically right, you can add some small details, or you can make some other changes. It's very easy with oil paint to paint something opaque over the top of your painting. And I mean, oil painters have been doing it for as long as there's been oil painting, I'll be willing to bet you. And even if it was some funky stuff that you did with glazing you've got to paint over, you can always give it another glaze later on. The thing about oil painting, I guess the point I'm trying to get to is that you have all the time you need. Now that said, I'm not a big believer in overdoing things or overworking things. That doesn't look good either. So don't think that what I'm not saying is that your painting is going to get better and better the more you work on it. What I am saying, actually the opposite's usually true. What I am saying is that make your best effort to get things right early on. If you find that you're struggling, just try and concentrate on getting the big shapes right. And one of the best ways that you can do that, that's been a while since I've mentioned this, is that you can kind of, like if you're like me and you wear glasses, you can just take your glasses off and things are pretty blurry. You just see the big shapes. If you have perfect vision, you can squint. Make things blurry that way. Either way, you want to focus on the big shapes, the big colors, make sure the colors go together. Make sure the values are appropriate, make sure the composition is interesting, and make sure you have a good spread of values throughout your painting. Like in a scene like this, we know there's going to be a good amount of contrast with the sky, because it's going to be dark in 15-20 minutes, right? I mean, this is it. Maybe you got a half hour before it's actually nighttime, but that's twilight, right? And actually, you can see I didn't start with a twilight scene. I want to have a look at it. Actually, it does have some color going on in the sky, quite a lot, but not like this. Could be morning. It looks like I've sort of turned it from a morning scene into an evening scene, but you can even see colors like this first thing in the morning. It's like I get a lot of that. Is this a sunset or a sunrise? I'm like, well, if it's a lot of pinks and purples, I'll call it a sunrise. If it's a lot of golds and other rich tones, oranges and things like that, I'll call it a sunset. But this case I had an easy way out. I just called it River Reflections. Not a bad title. Not a bad little painting. You can see it's looking good. I'm happy. And I was looking for, I still have more redos to do. Oh yeah, why am I giving you a redo? Well, because I haven't done any photography, because I've been just blasted with work getting the studio set up. But tomorrow I have a day off, and you know what? Just for you, I'm going to make a note because I have a box of very, very nice paintings, if I do say so myself, that I want to share with you. Um, yeah, if I write it down, it'll happen. There's a good tip for you too. Okay, writing things down makes them happen. Yeah. Anyway, I can see we're getting kind of close to the end. If you haven't clicked like yet, please do. Also, comments are very helpful. The YouTube robot digs it. This painting will be in my store. Consider supporting this artist. I've had some great support from some of you lately, and it's helping so much, and I really can't say how much. I really appreciate the support. It's very touching, and it makes me glad that I'm taking the time to share my work with people. So if you have the ability, you can get this painting, and I guarantee you when you get this in the mail, in the post, you'll go, wow, I knew it was going to look good, but I didn't know it was going to look that good. That's exactly what you'll say to yourself. And actually, if that isn't the case, you can contact me, say, yeah, I want to return this painting. You don't even have to tell me why. You can say, well, it's because my grandma needs some new dentures and I shouldn't have spent the money. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back real soon with another video. Meanwhile, please do me a favor. Take good care of yourself and all your loved ones. And stay out of